Okay, so if you go into this movie blind like I did, all I saw was the poster. I knew nothing about this movie. I didn't even read the synopsis. Okay, I just watched the poster and I kind of assumed it was a vampire movie. So, you're going to leave this movie and you're probably going to feel one of two ways. You're going to hate this movie because it's not really what you think or might want it to be, or you're going to love it like I did because it's kind of what you wanted it to be, but there is a much deeper story, and I mean, we could all in some shape or form relate to what she was going through in this movie. Hey guys, welcome to Happywax TV, and I hope that made sense. I don't want to give spoilers for this, but I can't guarantee it. So, the movie's called 10 Minutes to Midnight. I'm going to give it a rating right now. I am probably going to give this movie like a 6.5. Okay, I did like this movie. I didn't know anything about it going into it. I just saw the trailer on one of the sites that I go on quite frequently just to see what's coming out and what's upcoming. Let me read the synopsis. Bitten by a rabid bat, a late-night radio host terrorizes her co-workers as she slowly transforms into a vampire. Okay, well, this movie is directed by Eric Bloomquist, and it was also written by him and his brother Carson, and stars legend Caroline Williams, who plays Amy Marlowe, who is the DJ at this radio station, and after 30 years, she's kind of getting pushed out of her job into early retirement. And oddly enough, Caroline Williams played Stretch in Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 as the DJ. So that was kind of cool. But I'll tell you, I liked this fucking movie. When I figured out what story they were kind of trying to tell, like, it opens up. I don't want to give spoilers for this, you know, but I don't want to be so vague that if you watch this movie, you'd be like, well, this isn't what I fucking expected. This guy's an idiot for talking like, you know what I mean? Like there's a much more deeper story here than just, you know, Amy Marlowe getting bit by a bat on the way into work and then slowly transforming into a vampire. I mean, I'm not giving spoilers there. It's in the trailer. But it's like this story is very heavy on like conversation. So if you're thinking it's going to be like a gory, just slaughterfest vampire movie, it's not. Now it does have gore, and there are scenes where, you know, people get killed and blood splatter and body parts and stuff like that. But it's not the main focus of this movie. It's like a character-driven movie to see how this Amy Marlowe character kind of, as she transforms into this vampire and the different scenarios she goes throughout her life. And if I get into anything more than that, it's going to be spoilerish. You know what I mean? Like God, how do you say this without giving spoilers? You can't really. It's so well written, and I enjoyed it. And it's low budget. Okay, don't get me wrong here. This isn't like a big budget movie. It's not. It's like a micro budgeted movie. And I did feel that there were some sequences in this movie, and you know, where it didn't play out exactly as they wanted it to on film, just because they didn't have the budget to pull it off. But that aside, I mean, this movie works. It really does. If you can figure out the story that they're trying to tell, and it took me a bit. Okay, I was like, you know, the first act of this movie is more or less your basic vampire movie, right? And then we learn about Amy's background. You know, like I said, she's been this radio DJ at this show for 10 Minutes to Midnight for the last like 30 years. And then this you know, she's getting shadowed her last night on air by Sienna, who is played by Nicole Kang, who is fantastic. And she's pissed off because she's getting pushed out of her job so that this newer face can come on board. And that's it. But on the way into work, like I said, she gets bit in the neck, right, by a bat. And we don't know if it's rabies to start or whatever, but then shit starts to happen and we realize that she's turned into a vampire. And then she ends up biting Sienna after a huge, awesomely Happywax TV style rant on air. Do you know what I mean? I was like applauding. I was like, God damn, that sounds like me. You know what I mean? The way I go off on about some movies, and that's the vampire aspect. It's mostly in the first act here where there's like the blood and the gore and stuff like that. But then when you get into the second act, just when you think where this movie's gonna go, or you kind of think you figured it out, and then they just change it up. And I don't want to say what happens and stuff, but again, you're either going to really, really like this movie or you're not going to like it at all, because it is very heavy on the conversation, and there's different aspects of life in this movie that they talk about and show, and it's just how she goes through it as she transforms, and as her time here at the radio station comes to an end. There. I think that's as far as I can go with that without giving any more spoilers, if that was spoilerish at all. So I am recommending this movie. Like I said before, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's got a great runtime too. It's only 1 hour and 13 minutes. So there's not really, unless you call conversation a downtime, it's really well written. So it just flows. And again, as long as you can figure out the story that they're trying to tell, then I think you'll really enjoy this movie. It's a vampire movie, but it's not a vampire movie in the sense of just, her running around, ripping people's throats out and blood and guts all over the screen. There is some of that, okay? So don't get me wrong. There is blood and guts in this movie, but it's very conversation driven and very character driven, and through the retirement and the forced outage of this DJ, and then, some of the real life situations as to how people get brought on board and things they might do to manipulate people to get where they are, and just stuff like that. I don't want to say too much. I probably already did. So, but just seriously, go watch this movie. Again, you may not like it. I thought it was great. I'm going to give it a 6.5. If you have seen it, please chime in and let me know what you thought of it. Again, watch the trailer, okay? But it's probably better. Well, I don't know. It's probably better if you don't. I play the trailer on repeat down here, but there's no sound to go along with it. But I went into this blind, okay? So I was like halfway through the second act, you know what I mean? When they turn everything on your head, and I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? But then, you get through it, and then into the third act, and then you realize the story that they're trying to tell. So anyways, I don't want to ramble on too much about it. I liked it. 6.5 for me. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. If you haven't, go rent it. I'm pretty sure you're going to like it, but come back to me and let me know, guys. And until next time, stay scared.